So I needed a new cap for my spare fuel can, and thought that 3D printing was probably the way to go. So this is my process through the Fusion and then on to printing it out. So I opened a sketch, started to draw top down with a circle 42mm in diameter. I then offset that by 3mm, which is what I wanted the wall of the cap to be. I then extruded the wall up by 20mm, and then extruded the base down by 3mm. I then wanted to put a really coarse thread in it, and the easiest way I found to do that was to use the coil tool. So I got the coil feature up, selected the plane face that I wanted it to be on and the center for the coil. I set the diameter from that circle, revolutions, height, the profile, internal thread, and the section size being 6mm, making it a join, not a cut. Got all these dimensions from the can that this was going to thread onto. I then chamfered the thread by 1.2mm and filleted where the thread would start, and I did that by 4mm, which seemed to be fine. To clean up the top of the cap, I created a sketch at the opening top and drew a circle, and used this to make an extrusion cut to the top of the thread. That cleaned it up and made it flat. Here you can see that the sort of where the thread begins, it just sort of sticks up a bit too much. So I selected that, and then, as I say, made an extrusion cut, and that seems to have cleaned that up nicely. I then created another sketch on the inside bottom for where the seal would go. I made a circle of, in this case, 30mm, and offset that by 1.79mm, so that was the size of the seal. Then I extruded the various parts to make a gap for where the seal would sit, and it would be held in position. I then created another sketch on the bottom, drew a circle, and this is to clean up the bottom of the lid, where there are a couple of anomalies from parts of the coil. So just cut those away, and that cleaned up the bottom edge of the cap nicely. I then wanted to create like a knurled effect on the outside of the cap so that it was easier to grip. So to that end, I created another sketch on the sort of top of the lid, drew circles. I drew a circle and then created a pattern from that circle. So that the circle was the thing that we're going to make the pattern from, and I selected that part of the sketch by mistake, so deselect that, it's easy enough, and then created a pattern around the center. It defaults to 3. I wasn't sure how many I would need, probably more than 20, but I just kept clicking until the circles intersected and it looked like it gave me the right sort of pattern that I needed for the to be able to grip the lid. So once I'd created that pattern of circles, then it was just a case of selecting each part from the top that I wanted to extrude down to cut away. I deselected the model just to make it easier to select these bits that I wanted to cut away. I'm sure there's a quicker and a more efficient way of doing this, but this is the way I did it, and it seemed to work for me. It just took a few seconds to do this. And then once these little bits were selected, I then clicked on the body's light bulb again to show the body, and then extruded them down as far as I felt was necessary. I think I made it 15mm using a cut, and that gave me the petrol cap that I wanted. It didn't take too long to put this together, to design it. Just getting the analysis sort of cross-section tool, just to have a quick look and see what it looks like. The base looks quite small actually, so I think I'll extrude that down to give it a bit of a thicker base. That's way too small. That's not the 3mm, it's probably 1mm, so I'll add a couple of millimeters to that. Yeah, that looks far more uniform, and in fact we can use the measuring tool just to see exactly how thick the base is. And yeah, there you can see it's 3mm, which is ideal for me. You can see the cutout where the seal will go, and the threads and the profiles on them. Then it's just a case of saving it out as an STL file and printing it. Again, I printed this I think in ABS on my Anet A8. I've got a little video of it sort of on the can, as it were, so just you can have a look at that, and that is basically it. It fits a treat, it works, I think it looks quite good, and that's the whole point of design and 3D printers. You find something you need and you print it off. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you on the other side. Bye now.